So, you had the opportunity of playing 3 years under Coach Allen and 2 years under Coach Dunbar. Your redshirt freshman year, your 2 years. What coach had the better program in your opinion?
Um, each coach had their different style. Not to knock either one, but I think Coach Allen, who had the opportunity to go coach at Kansas and take the staff, um, I think what makes a great head coach is a great coaching staff. Just like one head coach can't be great on his own if his coaches aren't great. And one thing that they had a whole bunch of great coaches where from the receivers to the tight ends to the linebackers to the defensive ends, overall the special teams, they had a great coaching staff together where everyone could pull you aside, give you some pointers, relate to you in a real good situation. Well, when Dunbar came in, I just felt like I think they wanted to change things. They wanted to come in and put their mark on Northern Iowa instead of if it's not broke, not fix it. You know, they decided they wanted to come in and do it the Mike Dunbar way, which we didn't have a problem with that, but at the same time, that didn't prove to be very successful for us.
Okay. Now is your senior year. Now it's time for the NFL draft. Give us your whole experience on how you prepared, how you trained for the combine, and different things such as that.
Yeah, and kind of touch on that coming into my senior season. Like I said, we had a rocky start to begin with, and then finished strong. But I didn't have one of my better seasons. Out of my 4 years, I'll be the first one to say it was probably my worst year. But I think with a little bit of the pressure and then a little bit of just the team not being as good as what it should be and not making the plays when the opportunity was there, I ended up sliding in the draft and ended up falling to the fifth round. Where so at that time and kind of rewind to talk about that, I ended up after the season, I ended up signing with an agent, ended up going to New Orleans and training with a whole bunch of guys like Donovan McNabb and people like that, and on speed camp, and just spending about 2 or 3 months in New Orleans and just training and working on speed, working on different techniques for the combine, and just preparing ourselves for the draft.
Now, how did it make you feel? Your junior year, you was projected to be first or second round pick. Now your senior year, you dropped down to fifth. What did it do for you emotionally?
It was very hard. I'll be the first one to say that it was very difficult because when it's all said and done, you have no one to blame but yourself. Because when it's when you lay down at nighttime, you got to look yourself. You got to talk to yourself, and you look yourself in the mirror the next morning and say, "Hey, I can't blame no one but me." But at the same time, you still have an opportunity, and you got to pick yourself back up, and you got to go. Just because you weren't a first round pick or a second round pick, you still had the opportunity. And I was blessed enough to be drafted by the Detroit Lions in the fifth round.
Okay. Now you got picked up by the Detroit Lions. Um, Give us your experience on that. I know Barry Sanders just retired, correct?
I got drafted the year Barry Sanders decided not to come back. He was in a kind of a battle with the whole organization about not wanting a fullback in front of him. So, yeah, at the time I didn't know he was going to retire when I got drafted, but yeah, that was the year he didn't end up coming back.
So as a rookie, what was your goals going to a team that just lost probably one of the greatest running backs ever? What did you want to accomplish personally for yourself and then as a team?
First and foremost, just make the team. Just because you're drafted, if you're not a first 3 rounds, you're not guaranteed anything. So first and foremost, just make the team. Being a fifth round pick, yeah, should you make the team, but it's not guaranteed. So first of all, just going in, working hard, doing the off-season training with the team. Getting adjusted to the speed of the game. Because like I said, everyone in the NFL is talented, but can you adapt to the speed of the game? I'll be the first one to tell you, 10% is ability, 90% is mental. When you get there, everyone's played from all these different high conferences, from the big colleges, from the big schools. Everyone has talent. So adapt to the speed of the game, the mental part, and like I said, being a professional. Being paid for something you love to do. So just adapting to the lifestyle.
Okay. How did your rookie season go?
Rookie season went good. Like I said, it was a transition. It was fun at some times, frustrating at other times because you come from being in school, being the man, being the person, everyone looks up to, being All-American, you're the guy where you go in there and you're in the back seat. I played a lot of special teams. Did I get in some place here and I return kicks? Yeah, but mostly, you take a back seat, but you playing on Sundays. You're playing against the best players in the world, and there's no better feeling.
Now give us that experience because I seen you dominate wide receivers before in college. What's the difference between college and the pros?
Two things. Like I said, the speed of the game. The game is so much faster, and you never realize it till you get there. You watch it on TV, and it doesn't do it justice. Where the speed of the game is so quick, and then the mental part, being able to make adjustments on the fly. And like I said, this is a job. Where in college, you might spend 2 or 3 hours at practice. You might meet for maybe an hour, 45 minutes. Where when you get in the pros, it's an 8 to 5 job. Where if you're not in meetings, you're on the field. So I think that's a big transition.
Now you saying job. Is the NFL, is it as fun as high school, as college, or is it a business?
It is definitely a business, but don't get me wrong, it is fun because you're getting paid to do something you love to do. As a kid, you sit and you lay and you say, hey, what do you want to do? You might say, I want to be a president, I want to be a lawyer. As a kid, I said, I want to be a professional athlete, and my teacher used to tell me, hey, that's a good goal, but, set your goals on something else. I'll be the first one to tell you, you don't have to set your goals on something else. Do only 1% make it? Yes, but you can be that 1%. Not saying that you shouldn't go get a college degree. Not saying that you shouldn't get in your books and start to work. I graduated college. I graduated in 4.5 years. I have a degree. But at the same time, I was able to achieve my goal. I was part of that 1%.
Gotcha. Now let's finish off your career for the Detroit Lions, and you also play for another pro team. So I want you to kind of explain that. How did you end your career with the Detroit Lions?
I finished my career. Detroit, it was a kind of different situation where I was playing multiple positions. I ended up getting released. I ended up going out to Oakland for a little while, and then ended up coming back to Detroit in kind of a transition thing. And then after that, like I said, ended up getting released from Detroit, and then still wanted to play football and still felt like I could play professional football. One thing, like you talked about, it's a business in this game. It's a numbers game, and it's being in the right place at the right time and getting the right opportunity. So I decided I still wanted to play football, so I decided to play in XFL.
So I want to backtrack real quick to the Lions. So you was released, was it because of your talent? Or was it, like you just said, the numbers? Was it money? What was it?
A little bit of everything. I think I was talented enough to play. I think I kind of got caught up in the numbers game because I got released for a guy who was there for 3 years. I was only there for a year and a half, and I played in more games my rookie year than he played in 3 games. But at the same time, it's a numbers game. At the end of the day, you can be the most talented person if coaches don't feel that confident in you or don't feel like you're the person they want in that position. At the end of the day, hey, it's only 53 people.
Okay. Now you go out to the XFL. Give us your experience on that.
XFL was difficult, but at the same time, like I said, I wanted to play professional football. Vince McMahon decided to start this league, the XFL, that he thought was going to be very successful. At the time, hey, you were getting paid great money to do something you love to do, and it was supposed to be an opportunity to get back into the NFL where you were playing in all the NFL cities. So you didn't have to go over Canada. You didn't have to do the whole arena thing. So what more can you ask for? I was drafted early to play for the New Jersey Hitmen. And overall, like I said, it was a great experience. It was fun. I just wish Vince McMahon wasn't such a businessman and would have made it more about football and more about himself.
In business. Okay, so did you leave that? Was you released? Did the league fold?
Yeah, the league ended up folding after 1 year. Vince McMahon decided that he was more better at wrestling than he was at professional football, so he decided to pull his contract and everything like that.
So now you playing arena football, correct?
Correct.
Give us your experience on that.
Funny thing is, I told myself I'd never play arena.
Why is that?
To me, I don't feel that's real football. As a defensive player, you're at a totally disadvantage. First of all, you're playing on a 50-yard field. You're running in the walls. It's like Canada where receivers are able to run 10 yards and come at you full speed. So being a DB, it puts you into such a disadvantage. But at the same time, it was my way to get back into the league, I felt like, at that time. So I decided to take advantage of it, and I went out to play for the New York Dragons.